Eliza saw that an old woman was standing near a tree some distance away and looking at her. The woman was wearing strange black clothes and had a terrifying smile on her face. Eliza immediately moved away from the window and started looking in the other direction. Later everyone came back home and Charles said that he would prepare dinner so everyone should freshen up and come downstairs. Everyone freshened up and came down and started dinner. While eating, Eliza noticed that Nancy was repeatedly looking towards the outer door of the house. Eliza asked, "Where is your attention, Nancy? What are you looking at outside?" Saying, "Nothing, Mom," Nancy started eating. The next day Peter gets a call from his company informing him that he has to return to work. After this, Peter packed his things and left for work after saying goodbye to the entire family. After Peter left, Eliza took stock of the house. The structure of the house was similar to other European buildings of the 18th century. The house had 10 rooms and a big hall. But Eliza found one thing very strange, that there was a cross on the gate of the hall and the gate of every room of this house. When Eliza asked Charles about it, Charles said, "These crosses have been installed to remove negative energy from the house." But Eliza was not satisfied with this argument of Charles. Eliza also took stock of the room in which Maria used to live. There was a big painting of Maria in the room. She was wearing a black dress. Eliza went closer and touched the painting, and then she heard a loud shouting sound, and where did she go? That screaming voice was Nancy's. She quickly ran towards Nachi's room. He saw Nancy sitting on her bed crying and Harry standing in front of her laughing. Eliza understood that Harry had played a prank. "Now what did you do, Harry?" Eliza said. "I just secretly threw this scary doll at Nancy, Mom, while she was reading a book." Harry said, smiling. "Just apologize right now, Harry," said Eliza. Harry said, "Sorry," and went away with the doll. When Lisa Meach came into the hall, she saw Charles cleaning out some old things in the house. Eliza saw that among those things were a large knife, a silver cup with Kumatra written on it, a silver headless duck, and some small children's toys. "What is the use of such big knives and such things in the house, Charles?" "I don't even know this, ma'am, but all these things have been here for years, so I always clean them and keep them here." Eliza came out of the hall. He looked around and then suddenly he saw the old woman who was standing near the church. The woman was slowly going near the church. At first Eliza was scared after seeing that woman, but later she gathered courage and started following her. But by the time Eliza reached the church, the woman had disappeared. Eliza looked around the church but saw no one. Later she went inside the church and sat on a wooden bench. Then suddenly someone placed a hand on his shoulder. She immediately turned back in fear. Eliza immediately looked back. "So you are Eliza Freak who has come to live in that house," said the man standing behind her. "Ha! But who are you?" Eliza said. "I am Loris Vardy, the pastor of this church." That man was a thin and middle-aged man. "I saw you running towards this church, so I came too. I was following a strange old lady here. But there are no old women living around here. But I have seen that woman with my own eyes, Mr. Vardy. You may have seen something else. Maybe." Eliza said. "So Mr. Vardy, can you tell me something about Maria and her family?" Hearing this question from Eliza, the calmness on the man's face turned into fear. He said, "Can you come with me to my house? There you will get the answer to your question." "Okay, let's go." Both Eliza and Vardy walked towards the forest. "By the way, Mr. Vardy, why do you live in such a dense forest?" said Eliza. "I am a writer by profession, so I needed a quiet environment to write my stories and poetry. That's why I started living here. Both of them reached Verdi's house. On reaching Verdi's house, Eliza saw that there were crosses everywhere in his house. Eliza sat there on the sofa. After some time Mr. Verdi brought an old book and gave it to Eliza and said, "This book my grandfather wrote about Maria and her family." That book was written in Scottish language and Eliza knew Scottish. She took the book and thanked Mr. Verdi and headed home. While walking in the forest, he saw that his daughter Nancy was talking with someone in the forest. She was surprised and called out to Nancy, "Nancy, is that you?" Then Nancy looked back. Eliza immediately went to him and said, "What are you doing in this dense forest and with whom were you talking?" "Not with anyone, ma'am. I just came here to visit. Let's go home." Eliza calling both of them started walking towards the house when Eliza looked back and got horrified.